Hello and welcome to the next video. In this video I'm going to be talking about an experience that I had while living in Osaka, Japan. But not in Osaka where this occurred. Or at least where I experienced what occurred. I'll call this the Hikone quake or the Osaka quake. As the name suggests, it was an earthquake that I had experienced. The first and only big earthquake that I've ever experienced up to date, and hopefully won't ever experience again. So what had happened? Well, in June of 2018 I had booked a trip out to Hikone. Hikone is a small town with very traditional castle area near Lake Biwaku, which is the largest lake in all of Japan. So this is in the Kansai area, oh boy, here comes geography. Northeast of Kyoto. I had been to the lake area before, to different cities, which I'll talk about in another video. However, I had planned to go to this one because of the castle and because it was just another town and was easily accessible via train. So, taking a few days off, gone out there. Next, I think it was like 3 nights, staying at a guest hostel not far from the train station. And the morning of the last day that I was going to be there, I remember waking up probably about, 7 or 8 in the morning. As I've gotten older, I've noticed I wake up naturally earlier than usual. Anyway, in this guest house that I was staying in, which was very Japanese style, had a courtyard in the center and old style decorations, and even the room where the beds were, because this was a guest house slash hostel, so I was staying in kind of a hostel, H-O-S-T-E-L, not the other meaning or the other word or homonym. Staying in that area, and there were several little spots where beds were made, and it was on the floor, so you were just on a mattress slash tatami. So I was lying down after waking up. Okay. A few minutes in, I felt this jolt, and I thought, was that me? Did I process something unusual? Is my body, did I freak out for something? Was I having a dream that I was awake and, got jolted up? Just kind of lied there thinking about it. And one of the thoughts that occurred to me was, that's an earthquake. And sure enough, I had a view. There was a window just past my feet, and the curtains were down, but I could still see through it to the garden in the center of this accommodation that I was in. And then a few seconds later, after that initial jolt, and as my mind was running and thinking quake, I happened to see the man running this guest house slash hostel walking the garden, just kind of looking around like he's inspecting and surveying stuff. A short time after that, maybe another less than a minute, I saw a message on my phone in Japanese, with about some emergency, and there may have been like an earthquake type graphic on it. And I realized, yes, I did indeed just experience an earthquake. Now, at that point I got up, started going, checked the news on my phone, and sure enough, it was slowly coming in, but there were announcements that, yes, there was an earthquake. And it was, I believe, a 7 or 8 point earthquake that had occurred. So I'm trying to, as I'm looking, I'm trying to determine where it was, because I felt it here. So is it close? Is it far? What's going on? Well, it turns out that it was across the river and 1 or 2 stops away from where I lived. So my apartment was not far, was much closer to the epicenter of this earthquake. And where I was staying, I could feel it even though it was quite a distance away. So it had me worried. Oh crap, I left my laptop on a small table near the floor. I hope it didn't fall and break. And what about stuff in my kitchen and my refrigerator. Hopefully the fridge didn't open and just spill its contents everywhere, or be knocked over. You know, all these things kind of run in your mind at the time. So started messaging a few people, including family. Hey, I'm okay. There was just an earthquake, but it's far enough away from where I am, in case you get the news. You know, so they were happy to hear that. The next day I had to go back to work. I think it was like an extended holiday that we had, and thus I was able to take this time to be there. So it wasn't taking away from the working schedule. So I messaged my boss, and I said, hey, just heard there's an earthquake. Because it occurs to me the trains are probably going to shut down, because they're going to have to survey the tracks. And this is something that happens quite often in Japan, earthquakes, and they generally do shut down the tracks for who knows how much time. Or at least at the time I didn't know how long, when there's an earthquake, to make sure that the lines are all safe to run trains on. Nothing's, you know, critically damaged or off misalignment that could cause a train accident or derailment. And he messages back that, don't worry, you'll be okay. The trains will run, you know, in a matter of hours once they survey the tracks. You know, less worried than I was, but again, he had been there for many years. So I said, okay, well, maybe he's right. So get up, talk to the guy running the hostel, and said, hey, is everything okay? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. I felt it, but I'm all right. And I said, well, I gotta check out today. What was the time again? He mentions the time. I said, well, I'm gonna go check on the trains. Do you think they'll be running in the next couple hours or so? He says, I don't know. It all depends. They have to check the tracks. Do you need to extend your stay? I said I might. And I think I had checkout was either 11 or 1 o'clock, something like that. And I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and check out. And, you know, I'm going to have breakfast and check out. And if I need to stay, when do I need to let you know? He says, just come back. I'm here most of the day. There's still plenty of spots if you find you can't get back home. I said, all right. So I go, let me check the train station first. So go out to this train station. Again, Google Translate and all that. Speak to them and say, hey, what's going on? I said, well, the train's going that direction, which is opposite of where I need to go run a short distance. You'll be able to get to the next 1 or 2 spots. Going back, we don't know. They have to check the track. Okay, well, is it going to be an hour? Is it going to be 2 hours? What is it? Don't know. So I decided to go back to the hostel, tell them, yeah, I am checking out. Grab my stuff, went to the train station. One of the things that I like about Japan is the train stations have lockers that you can rent out for a certain amount of hours, for the day, whatever. And they're very secure, and you get to keep the key and all that. So you put in your money, put your stuff in, close, lock it, leave it there, and then I just had my camera stuff with me. I thought, okay, well, I'll just walk around and do a little bit of urban exploring, until I can figure out how I'm going to get back. So several hours go by. It's probably getting closer to 5 or 6. I did get to see quite a bit of Hikone and the neighborhoods, and once again verify the 3 things you see in every town, city, or municipality in Japan. Certainly they had them there. And just take a few pictures in general, little street photography, that kind of stuff. I might throw a picture up in here. And came back, early dinner time. That particular train wasn't running. And what they told me is, well, here's what you need to do. If you go a couple stations in the opposite direction of where I needed to go, you can go to this one station, which is a bigger hub, and they may have a train going, high-speed train going straight back to Kyoto, and then you could take your regular trains back to your suburban home in Osaka. I said, okay. So, gets a little bit later, grab my stuff, take the train out there, wait and wait and wait, purchase a ticket, and I think it was somewhere around 9-10 o'clock at night is when that train finally picked us up and rushed us back into Kyoto. But before that, I remember messaging my boss, hey, don't know if I'll be able to get out of here. I may not be able to come in tomorrow. And again, he calmly reassures me via text, you'll be fine. They'll open up the trains today. Don't worry. But I'm still freaking out, in part because that's my nature. I worry a lot. So this train picks us up, takes us back to Kyoto. Then I get the Keihan main line, make my way back to my apartment, thinking the whole time along the way, and oh my god, I hope nothing's broken. Oh my god, I hope there's not a mess of food that's been sitting there all day. Oh my god, I hope the roads and everything are okay. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it's getting closer to 11 o'clock at night, so gotta work the next day, so figure I get to get hit with whatever the surprise is when I get there, and then try to get some sleep after I clean up whatever the mess is that I walk in on, and then go back to work the next day. So get to my apartment door, put the key in, and just hoping it's not too bad. Turn the key, open the door, drop off my shoes on the landing, walk in, move the sliding glass, kind of Japanese style dividing door, or sliding door, really, not a glass, a room separator. And I look, and sure enough, the laptop fell. Fortunately, it fell on the couch, which it was sitting in front of, on a table. So the table moved forward, boom, cushion the laptop. I was like, oh my goodness. Look over at the kitchen, except for maybe a cup or two. Things are exactly where they were before. And I think one of the table chairs may have fallen, but look at the stuff in the closet, look around, no cracks, no damage, nothing broken. So I was very relieved to see that, getting there at 11 o'clock, almost midnight. Over the next series of days, when I was at work and even at home, there were aftershocks. And unfortunately, when the earthquake first occurred, I believe an elderly person and a young child had died when I believe a wall had fallen on one or both and killed them, unfortunately. So pretty sad that there was some loss of life. But, I was grateful that I had made it through, and felt very fortunate that I was traveling at the time far enough away where the effects were even more minimal than what I had seen in my apartment. So feel very blessed and grateful that I made it through that time. And my boss was right. Everything went back to normal. Just took a little while. Anyway, that's my Japanese earthquake story. Catch you guys in the next video.